Over the past few years, we've talked about the PlayStation Classic quite a bit, especially with the hacking, modifying our system to add more games. Recently, I took a look at the newest version of Autobleem that recently released, 1.0.0, which is a hack to get a bunch of games on here. And I've also looked at a build that a community member that a lot of you guys are aware of, Magnus RC, put out using version 1.0 for the PlayStation Classic. And I've been getting a lot of comments lately on old videos and new videos asking for help. So I wanted to run through this process again of getting Autobleem installed, a fresh install. So this is going to be good for if you have a PlayStation Classic that you haven't touched and you want to get Autobleem on here, start adding your own PlayStation games or whatever, or if you want to put Magnus RC's build on your system to get this thing set up and ready to go. Like I said, fresh install. A lot of people are looking for that Magnus RC build. Join my Facebook group. If you have not, you'll find more information there. There's a lot of awesome games and just stuff going on with that build. Now, we're going to need a few things. Everything's going to be listed down below that I used in this video, and I will talk about these things as we go. But first step is going to be downloading Autobleem. Now, the newest version is only available in the Autobleem Discord. So that's version 1.0.0. If you want to just fly with the newest Autobleem and add your own games, this is where you're going to want to go. Now, if you want to use Magnus RC's build, you can go to the Autobleem website if you can't get on Discord for whatever reason, and just download the previous version of Autobleem, which is going to be version 0.9 that's available here. Because what we're going to be doing is essentially just installing the kernel to be able to use OTG, and instead of having to use FAT32 to be able to use EXFAT, NTFS, that kind of thing with our USB drive. But let's go ahead and get this party started, and I'll go more in depth as we go. So I'm going to download that version 1.0 on Discord, in the Autobleem Discord. There was a few options there, as you saw. I'm going to go to the Google Drive. Now, there's a few downloads here. Bluetooth tool, all that good stuff, the theme pack. I'm going through this as if I want to get my system set up and put Magnus RC's build on here, but we'll kind of touch on everything as we go that we can. So I'm just going to download the basic Autobleem 1.0, which I believe is 585 megabytes. So download that. I'm going to put it on my desktop just so I can easily locate it, right? So as that's downloading, I've already downloaded it, so we'll go ahead and jump into that real quick. I have it right here. A zip file. I'm going to unzip this. I typically use 7-zip to extract these zipped files, so I'm going to go ahead and extract that, and it's going to pop up as you saw right here. Let that finish. Now, in this folder, we're going to have some README files, which we don't really need to worry about, and then our folders. These are what we're going to be putting onto our USB drive. But let's look at the release notes real quick. There's a couple things to point out. So we've talked about this with version 1.0, better game controller support, the stuff for light gun games and all that. Now, once we install that kernel, we're going to have OTG, Wi-Fi, easy Wi-Fi setup, Ethernet, NTFS, EXFAT, and experimental Bluetooth support, all that good stuff. So that's what we want in order to get this build going. So the other thing to note, I already have my USB drive plugged into my PC. So let's pop that up. Where is she? So as you see, I have my thumb drive. It's named Sony, and it is FAT32. This is just a 16 gigabyte drive that I'm going to use as the starting point. I'm going to use a different drive later, but you could use whatever drive you want. Now, if you just want to put everything, get everything set up on one drive, you don't have two drives, that's fine. But if it's not FAT32, you may want to use a program such as EaseUS Partition Master, Free Edition, or any other programs or ways to go about. I just always use EaseUS to format drives, so that's just where I'm at. But I've opened this up, locate my drive. If it wasn't already FAT32 and renamed, I could just format it from here and change it to FAT32, and then just I would click OK, and then once it was done, I would just run the operations, execute the operation. But it's already done, so don't need to worry about that. So let's go ahead and get out of there. And then on that USB drive, which we have right here, we're going to go ahead and take all this stuff, all the folders, and just drag it over here. So if you're doing a fresh install, you've never done any of this, you haven't installed the kernel, you're going to want to have that USB drive FAT32 and named Sony to get the ball rolling. So we'll let that run through, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so that took a few minutes to transfer the basic Autobleem install files. It's a slower USB drive, but in the end, I am going to be using this Samsung drive that's a USB 3.1 for the Magnus RC build. It's a faster drive. I can transfer files quite a bit quicker, so not a huge deal if you want to use this same drive. I love this one. Link is in the description below. But I'm going to go ahead and unplug that drive from my PC right now. Real quick before we continue on, if all you want to do is add PlayStation 1 games to your PlayStation Classic using Autobleem, once you go through these steps of installing the kernel, you're going to go ahead and go on your USB drive with all these Autobleem folders that you copied over. And in the one just called Games, that's where you're going to put your PS1 games. The folder with the game name, and then inside the contents of the game that you downloaded. However you acquired it, it does not matter. It can be CHDs, bin and queues, PBP files, but there you go. Plug it back in, you're ready to go. But let's continue on. So here we go. Here's the drive with those files right there transferred over to it, FAT32 named Sony. Now we got our PlayStation Classic, and you know, like I said earlier, depending on your drive, it may not be able to work in player 2 port, so you could try it, but if it doesn't work, you may want to use a USB hub that can be externally powered. So I'm going to plug this into my player 2 port, and I'm also going to externally power this. Let me find I got cables everywhere over here. I'm going to go ahead and externally power that. So that is powered, and then, or is it powered? Yes, it's powered now. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug in the thumb drive that we just put those Autobleem files on. Plug that in. So we're good there. And then we're going to go ahead and plug in the power for the PlayStation Classic straight in the back. We're going to plug in our HDMI cable. And I'm going to plug in my controller. So it is a mess of cables right now, mind you. We have our USB power in the back, and then we have our HDMI, and then in the front we have our controller, and then our externally powered USB hub with the thumb drive. Our light is on, and we are ready to go. So let's change screens. Okay, so everything is plugged in. I'm going to go ahead and press power, and if everything went as planned, it should go through the Sony screen and then take a second and load into Autobleem. I'm really hoping. If it doesn't, and you plugged in your USB drive into the player 2 port, it means you need that USB hub. If you're using a USB hub, you got to plug it in the power, that kind of thing. So those are the things to check for. But we loaded into it just fine with the setup that I just showed you. So we're going to go ahead. We have no games on here. We are going to use that Magnus RC build in a moment, but we want to get that kernel installed so we can use OTG, not have hubs and all sorts of stuff going on, using the player 2 port, being able to use different formats for the USB drive, NTFS, and the exFAT. So let's press start. Now from here, that's all our built-in games, the 20 built-in games. Hit select, and it should go to apps. You may have to press select once or twice. So what we're looking for is the kernel installer. Go ahead and press X. And you could go ahead and read through this before you do anything, just so you know what's going on. But we're going to go ahead and hit X, and it's going to take us to the installer and give us some options here. So flash and kernel, restore mode, or full backup, or just exit out. We're going to flash kernel, so hit X, start flashing, X to confirm, and it should take a moment. I believe it'll go to a black screen after a while, but let's wait and see. So, okay, as you saw, it said replace the power cable, right? So we're good now. We can go ahead and remove everything that we were using, the USB hub, that kind of thing, get everything disattached, if you will. And now we're going to plug in our OTG cable in the back. We don't have that USB hub anymore. We ain't worried about that nonsense. right? So there's that. We have our OTG plugged into the back. Now, what I'm going to do is just take my Magnus RC build. Same thing. If you download the Magnus RC build, you know, come to my Facebook group, Discord for more information on how to find it, that kind of thing. But we're going to go ahead and plug this in. It's the same thing. Now you can use either FAT32, EXFAT, or NTFS, right? This is a 128 gigabyte drive. The bigger the better for more games type of thing. I also use a 256 gigabyte every once in a while. But so we have that plugged in the back right there. Nothing in our player 2 port. Now we're going to go ahead and plug in our power into the back there. Type of thing. So we just have that one seamless cable coming out of the back. USB flash drive and our power plugged directly into the power in the back. So I just put this build back onto a USB drive. I didn't really think it needed to be shown in the video. Maybe I'll show a clip of when I did it the last time. But you're just dragging all those same files, all the folders. But with Magnus RC's build, you have games already on there. So you're just dragging those over to your USB drive. Power on now. And we should be good to go. It should just boot up that way. It should go straight into Autobleem. So let's check it out. There we go. Games have changed. So I'm going to go ahead and flash that. I do believe it's playing music, so I'm going to turn the music off in a second. Options, music, off, X, OK. So we're good there. Go ahead and get in there. And I mentioned this in my previous video. The PlayStation 1 games that are on here are the ones I've added. He added a different set. I just added extras using a bigger drive type of thing. But, okay. We've went through this build previously type of thing, but now there's a few things, you know, I didn't touch on. I'm going to real quick go over. So if we go to where it is, Retro Boot, go ahead and open that up. And from here, we're going to get Emulation Station set up real quick. We're going to go ahead and scroll over to the apps. So go down and find, I think I passed it. Emulation Station. Let's go ahead and run that. And that should pop up. And once that's ran, it'll just be in our apps section when we reboot the system every time. But this is, you know, the Emulation Station front end. So let's give it a second. So there we go. Nice little clean Emulation Station setup with all the games that he added, all the artwork and metadata scrape, that kind of thing. A lot of cool stuff here. So like I said, if you're interested, more information, check out my Discord or Facebook group. Magnus RC hangs out there, or his YouTube channel. Check him out for sure. But yeah, let's go ahead and exit out of here, and I'll show you. It will now be it'll be in our app section in Autobleem. So there you go. We could just go ahead and boot it up this way now, and then it'll take us straight there. But there you go. Any questions, post them down below. Check out Facebook group, Discord, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. I hope this video helped. Appreciate you guys. Bye.